Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, welcome. Today we have, yes, look at it in all of its glory. The Strength card, the Lust card, the Fortitude card. All right, I am so happy to see this card. I am also a solar Virgo, and I need some fortitude in my life. Oh boy, do I. Things have just been wild lately. Emotional, ups and downs, conflicts, not anything big, but still just weird, crummy energy kind of flowing through situations. And so I'm happy to see this. Today is October 5th, 2025. While I'm recording this tomorrow, when this comes out, it will be October 6th, 2025. And I'm saying the date so that you know, like, when this was recorded. I think if you look back on your days and you kind of have a little more context to when something is created, I don't know about you, but for me, I like to know those kinds of things because it tells me kind of like what's going on collectively and how that might have influenced the reader, okay? Let's see. So we have the Fortitude card. What is Fortitude? Fortitude is to build strength within self or, like whatever you're building, right? This card is often a calling for us to really kind of lock in, right? To maybe reserve our emotions a little bit, temper those parts of self. Oftentimes I look at this card and I think, it's telling me I need to step away from a situation. I need to go back to that Four of Discs energy, get back into my little, my little temple, my little fortress, my little castle, and focus on self. Stop getting involved with the world outside. Stop busying my mind with things that have nothing to do with me. I mean, everything does because it's all interconnected, right? But I understand when I see this energy, it's like, dude, you need to go home. You need to plug in. You need to charge up. You need to, like, whenever you have, like, a reaction to something, pump the brakes. You know what I mean? Like, take some time with it. So, I myself am going to heed this calling. It's also a good one for telling you to take some time for rest, right? Okay, and we knock politely, not like the cops. Bang, bang, bang. All right. Welcome. Now, if you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Absolutely. I love all of the interactions that I have with people here, and I love receiving news. I do. I just want to know. Like, I'm nosy. I'm a Virgo. You're a Virgo. We're nosy, okay? I just like to hear what's going on with people. Not because I'm judgmental or I want to make any like deep, analyses of it. But, I'm just nosy, plain and simple. All right, let's get started. We have two people who are kind of holding on to each other. We have this one over here that has kind of a flowing dress or gown or maybe like a robe. Now we have somebody over here who is kind of standing on this side facing this way. This one's the head facing this way. Now, next to them, we have the number 7. I know you might think, oh, that's a 6. I'm reading it as 7. It came out as a 7 in my mind. So it's a 7. Over here, we have a person who is holding, it looks like a knife or some kind of vivisection implement. Right in the center, though, we have, it looks like a spider, and then we also have a tail. Okay, we also have the number, it looks like 116, 116. And so let's kind of look through this. Now, did we talk about this person over here? We have a person over here that looks like Pan, or like maybe a devil kind of energy, holding the Ace of Cups. You can see kind of this figure 8 grail kind of energy. Now we also have hearts kind of floating around. We have the number, it looks like 69 right here, 69, again another 7. So let's take a look at, I feel like, and let me just say it plainly and then we're just going to go through the thing. It feels like there is some kind of love interest or some kind of love entanglement. It does feel romantic to me because of the way that these people are holding on. Now, over here, it feels like maybe there has been some kind of trauma or significant heartbreak. Not just like a little, we broke up and it took me, 2 or 3 months to get over, but here we are. My life has moved on. No. This is like living with somebody who had a second family for the last 15 years type of heartbreak. This is like, they married your sister and your kids like them better, right? And they don't talk to you. Like, to the level where it's just, and that's terrible. I can't believe I even just said that out loud. That is a terrible situation. And my sister's a Virgo, so if you're listening to this, I love you. Do not steal my family. I'm just kidding. You can have them. No, I'm kidding again. I love my sister. She'll get a kick out of it. We joke. But yeah, it does. But it does. It feels like some kind of just like, oh my gosh, this person, this situation. And it might even be, now as I'm saying this, I don't know that, for sure that they are the culprit, the significant other, or ex-significant other. It could be that, like, something awful happened to them, like a health issue or an accident, or, and here's the deal. If you've ever lost somebody unexpectedly, or even if you were there during the process of their transition from their corporeal body, you know that it can feel like an abandonment. It doesn't necessarily make sense, but to lose somebody is very complex. I mean, it doesn't always look logical. It doesn't always feel logical. So it could be that you did, there was a loss there. Okay. But here's the deal. And that's why we're talking about it over here. Here's the deal. Despite, probably saying, I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to be in a relationship again. I'm never doing this again. It was too much for me. All these things, that we all say. I always do. And, here I am, married with a kid, and that's what it comes down to for us Virgos. We are children of love, right? We really are. We are devotees of love, and not just romantic love in all of its many forms. We love unlike anybody else. I will tell you that. We love unlike anybody else. And if somebody is not emotionally mature, I think oftentimes they will find people like us to be difficult, to be needy, to be, just like we're too much. We're doing too much all the time. until you meet your person. Until you meet that person who speaks your language, who can handle all of the amazing that you are. And so I feel, and this is that devil energy, I feel that even though you have crawled through hell on your hands and knees, trying to pick up the pieces, failing, because listen, we don't pick up burning, melting pieces of our life. We add another link to our chain. We pull up our collar and we move forward. Don't we? Don't we? But not recklessly. Sometimes, I mean, especially when you're younger, right? We are also, I would say that of all the signs, Virgos are definitely like the serial monogamous, or maybe even not monogamy. You don't have to be a monogamist, but a serial fully investeder, right? And if you're poly or open or, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I feel like no matter what, no matter how jaded and cynical you are, you can't stop people from becoming very drawn to you and really like wanting to know you, be around you, get to experience you. And I think that you enjoy doing this as well. You're a lover after all. But I do think in this time there will be, a call for maybe a little bit of a break, and maybe that's where you've been. You've been breaking. You've been by yourself. You've been doing your own thing. You've been focused on healing and building up your resources and, getting the house in the shape that you want it and all that kind of stuff. Here comes love. Guess what? There's some love on the way for you, if it's not already here. Now, here is the part that is going to be tricky. There are two options here. There is some kind of, I don't know. I mean, maybe they're very attractive. Maybe they're like into all the same things. They know exactly what to say. They're a charmer. They're a love bomber. They're a mimic. That's where I'm at. I'm just like, the mimics, right? What is a mimic? I like to think of them as like the kind of lazy love shapeshifters, the chameleons, right? The ones that become like knowledgeable in everything that you're into. And yet, in practice, they have no idea because obviously they're like just, using the GPTs and the wikis and the whatever else. Right? Building up an identity for you. And it is a beautiful one. It is a charming one. Oh my gosh. This person is like everything that you thought you ever wanted. But they're a mimic. They're a shapeshifter. They don't just wear masks, baby. I mean, this is all they do. This is how they proceed through life, constantly shifting into whatever they need to be in that moment. Now, I'm not hating on this. Actually, in my life, I've met a couple, maybe 2 or 3 people who I would consider to be on this level, right? One is a person that I know that works in car sales-ish in that industry. Not selling cars, but something similar. And man, is he a chameleon, right? And then there's a couple other. I'm not gonna out y'all. But it's a rare thing. It is. Especially if somebody can do it well enough to get over on you for a minute. Because, listen, the veneer will slip, right? The filter will go out of focus and you will see the thing for what it is. You're going to. And because we have that mermaid tail, we also know that this is like a siren situation. And what is that? Do you remember the stories of the mermaid babes, the super babes with the great voices, and they're out there swimming and they're singing, and oh my gosh, they're showing off their seashells and all that, and beautiful. How could you say no? Enchanting, intoxicating, beautiful, wonderful. Oh my goodness. It's too good to be true. You go anyways. Right? And then you find yourself in ruin, right? The sailors, their ships would hit the rocks and they would, probably drown. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they float around on a piece of wood. I don't know. But it is a conscious choice towards destruction. And you know it and you feel it, and yet this person is so enchanting. It's hard to say no. But no. You have to be careful, because if you end up courting this person or not, they are coming for you. If you don't do this the right way, they are. This is not a safe person. And I'm kind of flippant and laughing about it because, listen, this is how it works for us Virgos. It really does. You meet somebody, you fall in love, right? Then all of a sudden, some other hoo-ha person, is that the right word? Am I allowed to say that? Oh my gosh, that's not what I thought. No, was that? That's the wrong thing. But yeah. What is the word? I don't know. Some other person. Some other, and I'm talking about the siren person. They show up, right? Right after the person that you've met that, yeah, this is probably going to be the better choice. But, right, maybe they're not as hot. Maybe they don't know as much about magic. Maybe, that's pointing at me. That's my thing. Is like, first thing is like, yo, let's talk about your practices, yeah, whatever it is. Maybe they're, they make music and you love it. I mean, it's easy to fall in love with a musician. Don't do it, but it's easy. So I just see you having this, conundrum a little bit. But here's the deal. You already know which way you need to go. Go for consistency. We're Virgos, dude. We can have a little bliss whenever we want. We're really good at creating situations that are pleasurable, right? Where we struggle, my loves, is choosing the person that is going to make sense in the long run, right? The person that I can build a life with, a person that I can sit next to silently, in the car for 3 hours, not because we're mad, just because we don't feel like talking to anybody. Somebody that you're just, like when they say they're going to do something, they do it. When you ask them if they will do something, they do it. They might not be the most exciting person in the world, and I know we love exciting. We love it. But baby, Exciting isn't everything. In fact, exciting usually leads to stress, terror, to like unexpected and mysteries, but too many, right? Too many. So ultimately, and this is the really good news, I do feel that we end up making the right choice here. We're going to go where we know we need to. Okay? We're going to go where we know our heart is going to lead us. And our heart has our best interests, right? Usually. Maybe a combo. Brain, heart, both together. There we go. But I do see it happening. And I'm glad that this devil energy kind of came around into our, that cup energy. Because if not, you probably sit around and just decide, like, I'm never, ever putting myself out there again. I'm never going to be vulnerable again. And guess what? For us Virgos, the moment we say that, that's when somebody shows up, right? That's when we fall in love again. Now, we're going to turn this thing over and we'll see kind of what happens here. So it looks almost like we have like a priest maybe, or a religious figure. We also have, it looks like a child right here. We have oh yes, look at that. We have the bull. And here are the horns. We have the moon up here. We have a person in prayer. Again with the spider. Okay, so the spider showing up, it really to me is about weaving dreams, right? Getting into our world building, because I think that's where you end up wanting to be anyways, right? But we do have a calling towards religion, spirituality, really investing yourself into the practices that honor your virtues, and to be of service. That's the biggest thing, to be of service. Now, I do feel like there are children in your life, and opportunities for you to, maybe it is like adopting or fostering, but it feels more along the lines of like caretaking, right? Babysitting, taking care of your grandkids, you're babysitting for your mom friends, or, whatever it is. I do feel that even though, I don't think that being a mother or father was like the whole of your identity, but I do feel like it's one of the places that you find yourself to be most at ease, and that is caretaking. Okay. So I do feel like there's a kind of a merging of your faith, your practices, your belief systems, and, right, maybe like teaching Sunday school, or becoming some kind of youth leader at your mosque, or, maybe even like doing, I don't know. I remember way back in the day, there was a temple that I would go to for Gnostic Mass. And I remember they were, a lot of them had kids, and they were doing like playgroup type of things or whatever, and kind of, teaching some of the foundational stuff, literature, which, if you have ever studied within like the AA, or, or one of the outer temple kind of groups, there's like a ton of stuff to read, right? There's I have a list of the curriculum, which I'm not a Thelemite or, Western Hermeticist or a ceremonial magician. I wouldn't consider myself that, but I've partook. And so anyways, I have the list of the curriculum in the book, in the things that you're supposed to read and stuff. And, so it could be something like this, where you are doing some kind of educational thing, or maybe it's, there's just so many things. There's so many things in the community, and maybe you're not part of a religious or spiritual program or system, or you don't have like a home church or something like this. There's plenty of opportunities within the community. I would definitely go through like your library. I know I've been going hard about public libraries lately. Go and check out some books, sign up. Even if you don't use it, it helps for funding the system. And libraries are so important for our communities. They absolutely, not just for books, right? They have a lot of different outreach programs and different kinds of clubs and things for adults and children to do. So important. But if if you're looking for some kind of, I know like at our libraries in this area, you can, sign up to do like reading circles and that kind of thing. So anyhow, I see that being a big part of your life. Okay. Something that feels very healing. I think it is kind of a vibe of like, I want to stay busy, because that's what we do as Virgos, right? We can have a tendency to ruminate, no doubt. But once we kind of like pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off, yeah, we're like off to the races again, right? We're ready to get back out there. And when we are being of service and in our faith or our grace or, operating from our true will, that absolutely, it just fills you up, and all of that other stuff kind of dissipates and is gone in the wind. So I do think that's important if you have the ability and opportunity, of course. Now we also have that bull. So there is a Taurus energy really kind of at the core of, I want to say it's just like in the middle of your heart, I don't know, maybe you have a Taurus child or, your significant other or somebody very important in your life. And I feel like this has to do with something within the house. It almost seems like a statue. What is it? I want to see what this is. I'm trying to look. It seems to be like in a living room or like a front room is what we used to call it. There would be like kind of like a gathering room, not the family. I mean, I always consider the family room being like where the TV is, and that's where like all the couches people sit on and stuff. And then the front room is like, where the nice furniture is when you have guests over, or, the less used room usually. And it feels like something in that room. The room looks older, but the things it's like nice stuff, but the house is older, and you can tell it's getting older. I just can see the side of it. I don't know. It's like it's white, not marble, some kind of maybe porcelain. It feels like it has like these ribs in it, and it feels rounded, and there's like ribs along the like sides. I almost wonder if it's like this sounds so weird, but it reminds me of something that somebody would use for like chew when they're spitting. If you've ever been around anybody that uses chew or snuff, Now, if you're not from America, you might not know what this is. Or if you're like my age or younger, you might not know what these things are. But it's like, I don't know if I'm even allowed to talk about it on YouTube because it is a tobacco product or whatever. But people would put this in their mouth and then you spit it out slowly. So you will see like spittoons, like in those old, Westerns or whatever. It almost feels like it's like something like that, or at least shaped like that. Anyways, it feels like this is something tied to this Taurus person. I don't know. We have the moon, and it's telling me the moon, when it shows up, it means a lot of things, but a lot of times it also means something like being in a dreamy realm, receiving messages through dreams, visions, having a distorted sense of reality enough that you can perceive patterns and symbols and, supernatural things occurring. And so I do feel like this person is maybe transitioned, and I feel like they're reaching out to you. I think they're trying to get your attention. So I would try to remember your dreams. Start noticing as much as you can if things are a little bit weird around the house or, somewhere in your life. It could even be in your car. People have poltergeist activity in the car, believe it or not. Excuse me. I need to take a little drink here. I have a little bit of coffee, even though it's getting late. All right, so we have a tie. We have the numbers 9 and 6 again. 9 and 6. And then we have, it looks like it could be the name Fred or Francis or something that starts with an F. For sure. We have 2 Fs right here. So it also feels like it almost feels like in the mail there's something coming where it's like a refund or like a overpayment or something. It's not a big amount of money, but it's enough where it's like, okay, cool. Like, not like $1.50 or something. So I think that'll be some good news coming up here. And now I'm going to do our lucky numbers, and then we're going to do one oracle card, and then I'm going to let you go. Number 20. 20. 20. Go. Come on. Come on. No. Way off of here. Okay, 90. 90. I always do it too hard or too light. 79. All right, so we have 20, 90, and 79. Now, these are our Cincy Child affirmation cards, and I'm just going to flip through, stop where it feels right, and here we go. It says, I have the power to make decisions that serve my purpose. That serve my purpose. Absolutely. Absolutely, as my daughter would say. All right. Well, Virgo, I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for being here with me. It's always such a pleasure. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. And good night.